Hello everyone. I hope everybody had a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I am here for our next week of YouTube classroom, I guess. This week's theme we're going to be talking about is spring. We're going to be talking about all things spring, seeing as the weather is changing for us, which has really been great, seeing as we're home. It's really nice to have this great weather and be able to be going outside a lot. Yesterday we had a whole mix of all kinds of weather. We had some warm spring, almost summer-like weather. We had some rain, which was very spring-like, and then we had a lot of wind yesterday, but it ended up being a great day. Hopefully you guys got outside a little bit. So we're going to talk about spring this week, and spring is a really great time for new growth, and the weather is finally starting to get a little bit warmer. We're seeing a little bit more sunshine. We're seeing a lot more rain though, and you'll see a lot of rain in spring, and that's because it's time for new things to start to grow. So the winter is over, the ground is not frozen anymore, so the earth kind of is starting to show us new plants and new flowers, and we're seeing buds on trees. So it has to rain a lot in order for all of those new things to grow. We're also seeing lots of new baby animals being born at the zoo or at farms. So that's another wonderful, wonderful thing about spring. So we have a lot of fun things planned for spring this week. I have a cute little scavenger hunt I'm going to send out for you guys to be looking at. On Raz Kids, I'll be adding new spring books to your assignment rocket ship that you can be looking at. Some are going to be a little bit tricky. That's okay. Just listen to them. Some you can read on your own. Take those quizzes. Get those stars, guys. That's always fun. And we're just going to be doing some writing and just some observations of the spring outside that we have right out our back door. So that being said, I want to go into our math review. Last week we did a little math review with the plus, minus, and equal sign, and I loved seeing your pictures and your emails and your videos. I really do look forward to those, friends. They really make my day, and I love to see how hard everybody's been working at home. So this week we're going to talk about ordering numbers, and I know we talked a lot about that a couple months ago. I know that it's in your math morning workbooks for you guys to work on too, so you've been practicing that as well. When it comes to the math, you have extra math. You could be working on your number sentences. I did send out a link of another resource, and I'm going to try to calm down with the resources. I know we got a little excited the last week or two trying to share all those things with you parents, but now that I feel like you guys have a nice little bag of tricks of different websites and different places to go, I'm going to try my best to not keep sending you tons and tons and tons of things. I know this is all a little overwhelming. So that website is great because it goes through each skill and you can do a couple activities at a time. But right now I do want to talk about, we're going to talk about ordering numbers. So I'm going to move my spring sign here of my makeshift easel that Claire and I made today with her music stand. I have a bunch of numbers here, and I'm really hoping that my friends can read them and read them well. You might have to zoom into the video. If not, I apologize. You can make number cards with anything. You can use scraps of old paper. You can use, we decided Post-its were best for us because we're going to be moving them around a lot. But you can really be using anything that you have at home to make your own number cards. So when we're putting numbers in order, there's a couple different ways that we could do that. And we know that one of the ways we can do that is going from the smallest number to the largest number. And that means if we were thinking about how many objects each number could show, that would be the smallest group to the largest group. So I have my numbers up here. I have 2, 1, 4, 3, 9, 5, 10, 0, 8, 6, and 1. So I have all my numbers up here, and I put them out of order on purpose because I want us to practice putting them in order. And we're going to start with smallest to largest. And I know at school we talk about using our number line on our pencil box or using the numbers around the room. So today we're going to have to kind of try to remember on our own. And the best way to do that is think about how we would just count up or add one more. So of all my numbers, which number do you think I'm going to start with if I'm starting with the smallest number? And this is kind of a tricky one. I'm going to start with my 0. When we do calendar, we talk about our invisible 0, but today we have a real 0. So I'm going to start with my 0, and I'm going to kind of put it here, okay? So when I'm counting in my head, I could say 0, then 1, and I could put my 1 down. And then I'm going to think to myself, what's 1 more than 1? It's 2. And what's 1 more than 2? It's 3. And then it's 4. 4, 5, I hope they're all fit, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So I think I put them in order. But remember, we always have to recheck our work, friends, and we can do that by counting and pointing. We're going to use our pointer power. Just like we do for reading, we can use it for math too. So count with me, friends, and let's make sure that my numbers are in the correct order, because sometimes we make mistakes. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Excellent. That's the way I count. Now I'm going to make it a little trickier. I want you to count from largest to smallest. So I'm going to order my numbers backwards from largest to smallest. So I have to look and see my largest number is the one that's all the way over here, and that's my number 10. So I'm going to move that down here, and that's where I'm going to start. So now I have to think backwards, and that's tricky sometimes, right, friends? So what's 1 less than 10? 9. Excellent. Then 1 less than 9 is 8. 1 less than 8 is 7. Then 6. 1 less than 6 is 5. Now it's kind of easy because we're going backwards as we pull these off. But if you jumble them all up before you count backwards, it might be a little trickier, and that might be a little bit more fun. Then 4. Then 3. Then 2. Then 1. And then my 0. So now again, I have to recheck my work to make sure that I put my numbers in the right order. So I'm going to count backwards. So count with me, friends. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. I did it. Yes, nailed it. So another thing we're going to do when we're putting our cards in order and playing our games, we're going to practice counting by 2s, friends. And we've been doing that in a calendar. We've been counting by 2s, 5s, and 10s. So now we're going to try to do that with our number cards. And I'm going to leave my cards here just because I don't want to keep moving them all around. But if I'm going to count by 2s, I know we go smallest to biggest. So I know I'm going to take my crazy 0 and I'm going to put it up here. Okay. Now, when we count by 2s, that's also skip counting, right? So we say a number, skip a number. Say a number, skip a number. So if I have my 0, I'm going to skip my number 1, and I'm going to use my number 2. Then 2, skip 3, and use my 4. Very good, friends. Then 4, skip 5, and use my 6. Skip 6, skip 7, and use my 8. 8, skip 9, and use my 10. Now we have to check it, friends. Now, to check it, we have to kind of think about that pattern and the way we sing it when we do it a calendar, okay? And we're going to do that as we're counting this and see if it makes sense. So 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yes, nailed it again. I skipped my 1, I skipped my 3, my 5, my 7, my 9. So we could do it by 2s. You could practice by 5s. You could practice by 10s. And you can really do a lot of cool stuff if you make some number cards. If you want, you can make number cards up to 50, up to 100. If you really want to get crazy, and that would be great to practice your number writing too. And you can use these cards to move them all around. You could have your family jumble them all up and you put them in order. It could be a really cool game. You could also put your numbers out in order, or someone could put them in order for you and leave some of the numbers out. And then you have to figure out what numbers are missing. So you have to say, I have these numbers up here. They go from smallest to biggest, but what numbers are missing? So then you have to practice your counting in your head and say 0, 2, 3, 1 is missing. And add it in. 0, 1, 2, 3. What should come next, friends? 4. I'll move this over. Then what should come after the 4? What's 1 more than 4? It's 5. Then my 7 sticks in there, and my 9, and then my 10. So that's fun too. Somebody could take the numbers out and have you fill them in, and you could do that forwards, and you can do that backwards. So the number cards are really cool because they kind of give you a really fun game that you can play at home to practice putting your numbers in order. Okay, awesome job, guys. So in leading with our theme of spring, I'm gonna read a story. Of course, guess what, friends? No spring books here, all at school. So I decided, going through all the books that we had, to read one that's one of my favorites. And I kind of think it reminds me of spring a little bit. There's something in it that reminds me of spring, and I want to see if you notice what it is by the time I'm done reading. Also, while we're reading today, friends, I want you to be thinking of making connections. Remember, we talked about when we're reading, it's important to make connections to help us understand our story better. We think about, what does this story remind me of? Have I ever done anything like this in the story? Is this character anything like me? And things like that. So that's what we're going to do when we're reading today. As we're reading, we're going to go through and we're going to make connections to the story. And I picked a good book, I think, for connections for right now. So our story this week is going to be The Cat in the Hat. It's a favorite. We read it last week. We all love it. But I want you to be making some connections. And you got a lot of work to do because I want you to think why I might have picked this book if we're talking about spring. And what about this book has anything to do with spring? Okay, friends? All right, my book's kind of falling apart, so I'm going to do my best here. Okay, The Cat in the Hat by Dr. Seuss. And I am reading this with the permission of Random House Publishing. The sun did not shine. Well, you know what, friends? I'm going to come up here so that I could get a little closer so you can see the cool illustrations. The sun did not shine. It was too wet to play, so we sat in the house all that cold, cold, wet day. I'm going to give it away. Why do you think I picked this book? Spring, rain, and it's pouring. It was pouring yesterday. So there's I couldn't wait, guys. I had to give it to you. The rain in spring. So that's where that connection is. And I can already make a connection on the first page. The sun did not shine, it was too wet to play, so we sat in the house. Who's been sitting in the house? We all have, right? I sat there with Sally, we sat there, we two, and I said, how I wish we had something to do. Too wet to go out, too cold to play ball, so we sat in the house and did nothing at all. There's that connection again, huh, friends? So all we could do was to sit, and we did not like it, not one little bit. It's hard being in the house, isn't it? Bump. And then something went bump, and that bump made us jump. We looked, then we saw him step in on the mat. We looked, then we saw him, the cat in the hat, and he said to us, why do you sit there like that? I know it is wet, and the sun is not sunny, but we can have fun. Lots of good fun that's funny. And that is a connection I can make. We've been trying really hard that even if the weather's yucky and we're stuck in the house, we've been trying to do a lot of fun things. I know some good games we could play, said the cat. I know some new tricks, said the cat in the hat. A lot of good tricks, I will show them to you. Your mother will not mind at all if I do. Then Sally and I did not know what to say. Our mother was out of the house for the day. But our fish said, no, make that cat go away. Tell that cat in the hat you do not want to play. He should not be here. He should not be about. He should not be here when your mother is out. Now, have no fear, cried the cat. My tricks are not bad, said the cat in the hat. Why, we can have lots of good fun if you wish. With a game I call up, with a fish. Put me down, said the fish. This is no fun at all. Put me down, said the fish. I do not wish to fall. I hope nobody's making a connection to that because we can't be tossing fish around. Have no fear, said the cat. I will not let you fall. I will hold you up high as I stand on a ball, with a book on one hand and a cup on my hat. But that is not all I can do, said the cat. Look at me now, said the cat, with a cup and a cake on top of my hat. I can hold up 2 books. I can hold up the fish, and a little toy ship, and some milk on a dish. And look, I can hop up and down on the ball, and that is not all. Oh no, that is not all. Look at me now. It is fun to have fun, but you've got to know how. I can hold up the cup and the milk and the cake. I can hold up these books and the fish on a rake. I can hold the toy ship and a little toy man. And look, with this tail, I can hold a red fan. I can fan with the fan. I can hop on the ball. And that is not all. Oh, no, that is not all. And that is what the cat said. And he fell on his head. He came down with a bump, and from there on the ball, and from up there on the ball. And Sally and I, we saw all the things fall. And our fish came down too. He fell into the pot. He said, do I like this? Oh, no, I do not. This is not a good game, said our fish as he lit. No, I do not like this, not one little bit. Now look what you did, said the fish to the cat. Now look at this house, look at this, look at that. You sank our toy ship, sank it deep in the cake. You shook up our house and you bent our new rake. You should not be here when our mother is not. Now get out of my house, said the fish in the pot. But I like to be here. Oh, I like it a lot, said the cat in the hat to the fish in the pot. I will not go away. I do not wish to go. And so, said the cat in the hat, so I will show you another good game that I know. And then he ran out, and then fast as a fox, the cat in the hat came back in with a box. A big red wood box. It was shut with a hook. Now look at this trick, said the cat. Take a look. Then he got up on top with the tip of his hat. I call this game fun in a box, said the cat. In this box are two things. I will show to you now. You will like these two things, said the cat with a bow. I will pick up the book. You will see something new. Two things, and I call them thing one and thing two. These things will not bite you. They want to have fun. Then out of the box came thing two and thing one. And they ran to us fast, and they said, how do you do? Would you like to shake hands with thing one and thing two? And Sally and I didn't know what to do, so we had to shake hands with thing one and thing two. We shook the two hands, but our fish said, no, those things should not be in this house. Make them go. They should not be here when your mother is not. Put them out, said the fish in the pot. Have no fear, little fish, said the cat in the hat. These things are good things, and he gave them a pat. They are tame, oh so tame, and they come here to play. They will give you some fun on this wet, wet, wet day. Now here is a game that they like. Said the cat. They like to fly kites, said the cat in the hat. That's a connection. Flying a kite is fun in this weather with the wind and all that stuff, so that's pretty fun. No, not in the house, said the fish in the pot. They should not fly kites in the house. They should not. That's very true, friends. If you're going to fly a kite, you got to go outside. Oh, the things they will bump, oh, the things they will hit. Oh, I do not like it, not one little bit. Then Sally and I saw them run down the hall. We saw those two things bump their kites on the wall. Bump, thump, thump, bump, down the wall, in the hall. Oh, gosh. Thing two and thing one, they ran up, they ran down on the string of one kite. We saw Mother's new gown, her gown with the dots there, pink, white, and red. Then we saw one kite bump on the head of her bed. Then those things ran about with bumps, jumps, and kicks, with hops and big thumps and all kinds of bad tricks. And I said, I do not like the way that they play. If the mother could see this, oh, what would she say? Then our fish said, look, and our... Oh, what are they looking at? It's the mom. Our fish shook with fear. Our mother is on her way home, do you hear? Oh, what will she do to us? What will she say? Oh, she will not like it to find us this way. That's a connection, because I would not be happy as a mom if my kids made a mess, and it's happened. So do something fast, said the fish. Do you hear? I saw her, your mother. Your mother is near, so as fast as you can, think of something to do. You will have to get rid of thing one and thing two. So as fast as I could, I went after my net, and I said with my net I could get them, I bet with my net I could get those two things yet. Then I laid down my net, it came down with a plop, and I had them at last. Those two things had to stop. Then I said to the cat, now you do as I say. You can pack up those things and take them away. Oh dear, said the cat, you do not like our game. Oh dear, what a shame, what a shame, what a shame. I think he does feel bad. I think he was just trying to help. Then he shut up the things in the box with the hook, and the cat went away with a sad kind of look. This is good, said the fish. He has gone away, yes, but your mother will come, and she'll find this big mess. And this mess is so big and so deep and so tall, we cannot pick it up. There's just no way at all. And then, who was back in the house? Why, the cat. Have no fear of this mess, said the cat in the hat. I always pick up all my playthings, and so I will show you another good trick that I know. That's a good connection. Always picking up your playthings. Then we saw him pick up all the things that were down. He picked up the cake and the rake and the gown, and the milk and the strings and the books and the dish and the fan and the cup and the ship and the fish. And he put them away, and then he said, that's that. And then he was gone with the tip of his hat. Then our mother came in, and she said to us too, did you have any fun? Tell me, what'd you do? And Sally and I did not know what to say. Should we tell her the things that went on here that day? Should we tell her about it? Now, what should we do? Well, what would you do if your mother asked you? So that's what we're going to do today. Your activity for today is I want you to tell me or draw me a picture or write me a sentence of a connection you can make with the story, and tell me, what would you do if you were the kids? What would you tell your mom? Would you tell her what happened? Do you think she'll believe her? We should always tell the truth, but you let me know what you think you should do. And you can practice doing your number cards. All right, friends? So that's today, ordering numbers, making some connections to some things that we're reading. Don't forget to make connections while you're reading your books at home. And I'll shoot out another activity to you guys tomorrow. This was fun. Bye, friends.